Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. And it's, well, reasonable. It's about 11:30 tonight on the 27th. I want to say I'm glad that I can take this moment to share with you something that needs to be shared. You know, our nation is going through some trying times right now. We have people that, for some strange reason or not, having lived together in this nation, under this nation's rules and regulations for all of our lives, it has affected us in a very strange type of way. It has created amongst us a 1% group of people who have amassed as much wealth as 1% as the rest of the nation almost in its entirety, give or take a few. We have in this nation established a continuous philosophy of hate and racism and bigotry. We have, for some strange reason, kind of made it profitable to lie and to cheat and to steal and do things that were at one time unconscionable, though people found it necessary to do. And so at this point, we find America where its people are afraid of one another, and those who consider themselves supreme, the white folks, at one time feel threatened now by people of color who have grown in numbers because of migration. And we have people who are just purely, I would say, perhaps might be frightened because of the conduct that they have expressed in places where they've been. And maybe they think that something is going to happen to them as it did when they were in a position to exercise a good or not. But, ladies and gentlemen, we shouldn't be thinking about that too much on a negative tip because that's playing into what is happening right now. When I listen to social media and cable access, and they speak in regards to the crisis of America's insurrection, they do call it that, and the politicians who are on the payrolls of the people who are in Congress that's standing up against the Constitution that they've taken an oath saying that they would be upholding. And it doesn't make any sense to anybody's stretch of imagination, but it's going on. And so we have people who are observing these things that's happening. For instance, we have what we say the 2020 election of Donald Trump losing to Joe Biden. But we find out that some strange things took place. I won't cite them here. You've heard of them. Some strange things took place. And it's not like the Trump people were speaking according to the information that we found out about. And yet, it was enough, powerful enough, to cause an insurrection. And people who have observed this, they are so angry because they can't understand how people could accept this thinking, this way of thinking. I mean, seeing the same thing that you saw, and you know what you saw, and so they had to see what you saw, but they say they didn't. And so when they say they didn't, and I say when the media, social media, whatever, are talking about that, and when they go to court and the courts reject their claim, it is not decent, it is not healthy to laugh at these people. This is not a joke, ladies and gentlemen. This is real. This is down to earth real. You believe what you believe. You think what you think. You understand what you understand. Other people believe what they believe. They think what they think, and they understand what they understand. Now, what I have observed is that it's different than yours or yours from theirs. But yet, it is still as legitimate to each group for one reason or another. The key is, how do you bring that together? What is it that would make these groups, that have made these groups distrust each other for so long? And usually it's because of material gain. It seems as if everything is about material gain, and would keep them apart, even to the extent of perhaps going to war. They've done it before. And what was it about? Material gain. Material gain. And that is what it would be about today, material gain. All of this most dissension stuff is about material gain. But we must know that this laughing at people will not help bring anybody together. We must find some way to bring these two groups together, not make them think our way or we think their way, but think in a way that both of us are satisfied that we are both winning. How can we do that? You see, the idea of this negativity perhaps is put in the mind of people, especially white people, that maybe the best thing that they could do is kill, get guns and kill. You notice every time they want to flex their muscle, white people, white young men or whatever, want to flex their muscle, they want to do it with guns and fighting and violence. Now, we can attribute that to whatever you want to attribute it to, but it's a reality. That's what they want to do. And they have access to guns. It's been made easy for them. They have been of the group representative. And so when you think about wiping their enemy, you, black people, me, black people, all out of their way, guns is the way to do it. But see, that's a negative way of thinking about getting your way. And even that's just half of the negativity, because on the other half, the black people are thinking, wait, we don't have the guns, but one thing we do have the match. We know that white people don't mind killing, but we also know white people are lazy. They always want somebody else to do their work, and they're going to have a lot of work to do. That's the philosophy of black people. White people start killing, black people start burning. And when the thing is all done, the black people might be dead, and white folks ain't got no home to go to. So what have we done? Played into the game, played into the game. So ladies and gentlemen, I say to you that my philosophy about life is this. On both sides, whether you consider yourself right or left, whether you consider yourself conservative or liberal, it doesn't make any difference. Whether you consider yourself black or white, you're here on this earth, and you're here for something. I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. You may have never been told this, but you're not here by accident. Sure, many people have been aborted for various reasons, but you weren't. You're here. You're here for a special reason. Perhaps you never knew that, but I want you to know that you are. And the reason that you're here that is so special to you, that is really obvious if you knew how to recognize it, it is that which gives you your greatest joy at thinking about doing. Whatever that is. Society should be open, must be open to accommodate each and every dream, each and every ambition of you, the people, whatever side you're on, to allow you to be you. Every last one of you to be you. And in being you, you will be a creator. Collectively, you will be a great creator. And what you will basically create is amongst you, the people, you will create peace. You, the people, will create prosperity. You, the people, will create freedom. You, the people, will create joy. You, the people, will create the fulfillment of dreams. You will do that which is required, that the reservoir of goods and services will be met to the extent that your needs, your wants, and your desires will be met. Now that will include, but not limited to, food and clothing and shelter, education unlimited and unrestricted, and health care from the womb to the tomb. All because you, the people, had a chance to be free, to be you, to be who and what you are, and society was set up in such a way that granted you the opportunity to engage yourself in the process, and usually institutions that have already been set up, and where you like education, there for you. Anything that's your shortcoming to assist you, to aid you to be the best that you can be, so that we as society, and it doesn't cost you one penny, ladies and gentlemen. Remember this. See, what I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, is this. I think I'll just share it with you like this. There is a God, an invisible God that you can't see, that you can't touch, that you can't feel, but most of the evidence is out already. Things that exist because it exists, and you and I had nothing to do with it. The rest of it is us. We the people, and the things that we can do, especially the good things, is recognized to the God of love. But we do some evil things too. And that's because we do not understand or know the God of love. And so really the truth of the matter is, rather than attack evildoers, it might be better to just resist them and love them. In other words, do not bend to their will, to the will of that which says it's okay for homelessness to exist, that it's okay for gerrymandering to exist, that it's okay to cheat and steal elections. No, we just don't bend to that. We resist all of that. And we represent what is proper and what is right. And we embrace it by allowing them to be a part of it as well. Now, this is what it determines, and I want you to always remember this, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to go, everybody think they're right. Mostly everybody think they're right. There are some people now who just don't give a care. But otherwise, most people think they're right. But here's how you determine which is which. It's like, you remember the story about, I think it was King Solomon, about the baby? Two ladies claiming the same baby. To make a long story short, they were going to split the baby in half and give one way to half, another the half, or something like that. And one lady went, okay, give me my cut. But the other lady said, no, nope, you can take it. And Solomon said, oh, that's your kid. So yeah. And so it's like this. When people making statements about policies that it is supposed to affect the public, to determine whether it's proper, godly, divine, loving or not, is how and who does it affect? Is it restrictive to some? And if so, why? Or is it anything that would be negative to anything else? See, what is good for the gander, my friends, is good for the goose. So what I'm saying, if policy is going to be made relative to those things that has to do with survival, then those things must be available to all people. Now, there are certain things that are uniquely required for individuals. No one wants to get caught up in that, but they all want to be uniquely available to get into that which is directly related to whatever it is that they do. And as long as everybody got that connection and it is working, then it is fine. That's the way it should be. So, what I want you to do, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not telling you to uh, vote for, I'm not telling you who to vote for, but I want you to do this. I want you to try God. Try God's way. I'm asking you to try God's way. The difference in God's way and the way things are now is that this way is not, well, it's not God's way. Democracy is fine. We're not going to knock democracy, but capitalism is ungodly. Now, what do I mean? Well, you know what I mean. You heard me say. The one way works. The only one way that I know of works. Now, there might be others. I've never heard of them. But the only way possible for peace and prosperity and freedom and joy and all those kinds of things to exist is just how I just mentioned it to you a moment ago. No other way. And if anybody can prove me a lie, please do it. Because I'm asking everybody to engage themselves in this pursuit. Make up your mind that we're going to change our way of treating one another. And we're not going to let anything separate us. We're not going to let anything. We're not going to be dog eat dog anymore. Because we are all special. And we need each other for our perfection to be needed, to be perfected, and to be received. Come on. Okay, I'll stop there. I don't want to bore you. Thank you.